Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Definitely a thumbs up, and remember, no matter who you are valid. It is a brand new day indeed. I went out for early morning walkies. It had to be around 9 o'clock because I needed some businesses to be open. But I headed out for a full walkies. I went by the stream, went to the library, got some printing done, took the long path back up into northern Shelton, and then took the long road up to Walmart, and then swung on round back to here. Not a huge distance. I was shocked and dismayed to find out that what I thought was a 4-mile walk, when I extend out here on the main road is only 3 miles. So good thing I've been doing it more than once a day. But oy vey. So yeah, I've been thinking of how to extend it as much as possible. The lack of stairs for that extra stress and exercise, the lack of fun places so far that I can find to go, and then just finding time and finding through my executive dysfunction. Still, I get out there. I'm still finding stuff. I'm going through those drainage fields. I'm going to be dragging my tablet back out there to take a look at some stuff that's cool, because there's drainage fields that you can get to that I haven't been able to take pictures of yet. Definitely a thumbs up on that. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by these drainage fields. It's just, even I think it's weird looked at from the outside, but I just love them. It's for the same reason. I think that I also really like the pictures that people take when they do exploration of urban decay, because I am fascinated by urban decay. If it wasn't so dangerous to explore places that are decaying, I would have loved and would still love to go. But by very virtue of what's happening, buildings that we made being reclaimed by nature, yeah, they're dangerous to get into. And then when you're in, dangerous to be in. So, it's just sad that the most exciting places to go are also the most difficult to get to and most deadly when you get there. Thumbs up for that. Yay! I say I am unaffected by hay fever, and on the whole I am. I mean, I don't have any great snifflies. My eyes don't like water, and I'm not, coughing and hacking and yakking. But my eyes will fill with thick stuff, and it doesn't feel good. And like right now, I'm a hacking and a yakking, and still having to do that. So, something in the air. Yay. But still, though, a couple of the things that I printed, and one of them, annoyingly, what the printer at the library will do, if it's the wrong size by even this much, it won't just shrink the page to fit it shrink the image to fit it on the page. No, it'll shrink the image, turn it, and then put it on half of a page. So it becomes very useless, hard to read, and on its side, because it just happened to be a little bit larger, and it couldn't just shrink it a little. It had to shrink it a lot. Whereas the printer here, while it doesn't do as much, you can go into different printing type options, whereas the only option you have at the library is print or no print. So, yeah. I mean, that's roughly the same here. Tiny little cheap printer. But again, I can have things that are not of the exact size, and then I can tell the little printing program just adjust the size of the image to fit the page on the fly. And it will. But not the one at the library. Oh well. Thumbs up for that. But some of the things that I printed up, reference sheets for helping to play the game Cur Nathalis, which I'd love to show off just for the channel. A flip through of the manual, if nothing else, if I could ever figure out how to do screen capture on here, in which case you could maybe only hear me, but you're not going to be able to see me. Which for some people probably fine. But I also printed out the map for Blood Moon Apocalypse. Now, I'd mentioned this game yesterday. Blood Moon Apocalypse, where the moon turns red. It's constantly nighttime all around the world, no matter where. The sun's in the sky, but I guess it doesn't work. So you've got a red moon that's up there, and it's what supplies the light in the world. Most people have been possessed by demons or turned into zombies or horrific nightmarish things, and you're just trying to survive and build up your base. And you can, because it's so easy to do, I'm trying to grab something, which of course, now that I want to get here and do this, it's making it difficult. When you're just trying to do it on your own, things slide all over, and I'm constantly having to catch these things so they don't just fall apart in a big fan of paper onto the floor. Now that I want to pick it up, it's like they're made out of sandpaper just stuck to each other. Ugh. The perversity of the inanimate tends towards the maximum. You can use a character sheet. Or, if you don't want to do that, you can just write it out on a sheet of paper, as I did before I printed out some character sheets. This, I think, works out well. Now, one of the things you can get at Walmart, and I looked at today and was like thinking of how can I save up enough to buy this, or to justify buying this by saving up to get it. Those thermal laminators. Because laminating stuff so that it will last is a good idea. Only, I don't have enough stuff to laminate. What would I laminate? Character sheets? And when you do laminate something, it's only, you can't just cut it out the same shape of the paper, because then it's only just the paper holding the pieces together and not the plastic holding onto the plastic on the whole laminated thing. And I didn't have enough, and I couldn't think of what to do with it. I couldn't even justify to myself how, buying a $35 laminator, and I will spend money buying little squishy toys that sit up on my shelf I can poke, and they just go wiggle, wiggle, and then they're like that big. I'd have no problems justifying a little squishy toy. But I could not justify a laminator. It's like one of those not even three-hole, those notebook binders that you can get with the plastic rings. They're only like $35-40 to get one of those, where it'll punch the holes, and then you get the little thing, you put the paper in, you have it let go, and you can bind your own books with those. Cheap. I can't even justify that, though it would help. So, and yet, tiny squishy toys. Now, the one thing I had mentioned that I was almost ready to play the game, but then I couldn't, no map. And it's a weird map because it's kind of point crawlish. And when you take a look at each of these edges, because you have to keep expanding where you have to go, you keep moving onto different sheets of paper if you survive, as your journeys have to get longer and wider so that you can grab more resources. And again, though, when you start off, say, right here, you roll for the number of connections that lead out of that square. It might only be 2. And then you roll where they go. Maybe one goes here, and then one goes here. Those are your only choices. There are no other places to get to. Society and civilization has crumbled enough that those are cut off. So now you've got to get to one of those other places and then roll for the number of connections that they have. So it gets pretty insane as you travel around. And now that I've got an actual map sheet, and I've got the character sheets, and I've got the book, I'm actually going to play it tonight and see how it works out. Now, one of the things I'm going to be doing as soon as I get this all done is while it's uploading, I got to make me some phone calls. Luckily, they're not imperative. I don't have to figure things out until the 20th, which is like next week. But I need to reschedule a podiatrist appointment because it's on the same day as going to see my regular doctor, and I need to talk to him about a whole bunch of stuff. So I need to redo the podiatry appointment, which, because it's for the bone spurs, I don't know what they could do anyway. I mean, it's helped a lot that I'm wearing these work boots all the time. It restricts some of the motion of my heel, but not all of it completely, which helps. And then when I'm out walking, like on the trail, I have to walk on the toes of my right foot a lot. Well, the ball of my foot, with your toes this way and then your foot here, and then that's the pad, the ball of your foot there. And then I have to just walk on that. Well, my other leg is just stretching and doing things normally because no problems with that heel. So fun for that. But yeah, lots of things I want to do with that. Other things I want to do with other things. I'm still going out walking and doing lots of stuff, even with my bone spurs. But I got to get my appointments done by next week. But I did some stuff that needed to be done today. I feel pretty good about that. So if I don't get anything more done, I don't feel too bad. Now, the problem is executive function and executive dysfunction issues are terrible. Over on my sink, whichever direction my sink is, I think it's directly behind me. Over there, back behind my container of just hand washing soap, is dishwashing liquid for when I wash things out back here. Like when I've made rice or just I want to wash something else. Oh, my computer screen just turned off because I haven't changed the power options yet. Oh, I got distracted because I was talking about the yes, this here executive function. Back behind that is dishwashing soap. It had fallen. I have, as you can see these things here, some things down there that I am storing in a container. Things like supplies for my sleep apnea machine and other such like that. The dishwashing liquid container had fallen off the sink and into that container. And I could see it, and it wasn't any danger of getting lost. It wasn't any danger of getting its soap everywhere. It had just fallen. It was down there. I just needed to pick it up. And it stayed there for weeks. And I wanted to pick it up. I think it was only 2 days ago I was able to do it. I was looking down at it. And literally, it felt like I walked out of a prison into a sunny day. I felt like I had been wrapped in ropes, and those ropes were taken off because all of a sudden I went, oh my God. And I reached down and I picked up the soap and I put it on the sink. It was only at that moment, and it felt literally like I walked out of a dark cave into sunlight, possibility, and life again, because I was able to reach down and pick it up. I tried to do things as best I can. Executive dysfunction issues suck. But people with ADHD really have a lot of that. And then when you add it to the trifecta of depression, being an autistic person, and all my other mental conditions that I deal with, my withdrawal, my social anxieties, all these things, I can't remember my point where I was going with that. In fact, what was I talking about? Here's the ADHD thing. It was an ADHD thing. I can't even remember what the point was, because my big issue with ADHD is I forget things even as I'm talking about them. And I wish I could impress upon people that that's exactly what happens, because right now I forgot exactly what I was talking about. My sister does not understand. I cannot explain to her in a way that she will understand that it's like someone is reaching into my head, grabbing hold of what I'm talking about and the memories and all that, and just pulling it out of my head, and it's gone. There is a hole in my memories now. It sucks. Now, of course, part of that is likely, the condition I'm going to mention exacerbates what I'm talking about, and the conditions that I just mentioned, making the forgetfulness of ADHD worse, because I was an active alcoholic for 25 years. More than that, because I didn't drink all the time, but I drank enough when I started when I was under 10 years old, because of the SA I was receiving from my stepfather at the time. So I started drinking at a very young age. But I was only an active, functional, I was a functional alcoholic until around age 20, when I became alcohol-dependent alcoholic. Except I didn't start having the shakes when that was the real bad one, just before I had to leave work, where at the end of an 8-hour shift, I would start getting the shakes so bad. But I crashed and burned in the year 2000, so I'm quite sure that did a number on the old noggin there, and the stuff inside of it too. So, past that, I have blood moon there. I've got calls I have to make. I could just walk down the hospital. Problem is, the way things are all set up with everything, I can walk down there to the hospital, and then I'll have to sit in a chair to use the phone system that they have set up for making and changing appointments. Is like set up for people like me to not be able to do it. I need to go in there, spend 3 minutes talking to somebody, and get it done, and then have it be done. Instead, because I have to deal with the phone system, by the time I can finally get through to somebody and they walk me through everything, I've spent all day and they've spent a half hour. A 3-minute in-person thing, in there, get it done, out, versus everybody's frustrated and it's taken 10 times as long. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Life is life. I am still, of course, thinking about my solo RPG setting, and I'll talk a bit about that. Because, as I have mentioned before, there are various races on the planet, one of them being the Elvandri, what we would call dwarves in another fantasy setting. But they were chased up from near the core of the world in their a very long time ago, starting millions of years ago, being chased upward by something. They used to be a race of something that would slide in the seams between, seams, veins of plastic rock, because at that depth in the mantle, it's near liquid while still being solid, all because of pressure and heat. But this force drove the Elvandri, the dwarves of this world, upward, and they changed and became different as they were chased upward to adapt to a changing world, because after all, the mantle gave way to the crust, and they still kept getting chased out until they became the form that they were, and they left the underground to be surface dwellers. So there's something that's very bad. But the thing is, as much as it killed so many of them while chasing them upward, it doesn't care about them. It's got its own agenda. If it is aware of them, its likely reaction would be, what? Huh. Oh. Oh, now what was I doing? And then getting back to its work. It doesn't care about anybody on the surface of the planet or inside. It's just that what it's trying to do affects us. But by the time it takes over and wins, anything that could be affected by it will be long gone. The only thing that will have lives cut short will be simple microorganisms and fungus that will never, ever evolve into anything else. The very end of life on the planet. So its goals, everything that it's doing, it doesn't care about us in the slightest. It's just that what it's doing affects us. It is effectively a cosmic / existential horror because it doesn't care about anything or anybody again. It's just nobody really understands. They just know that the Elvandri were chased up, and if they go down too far, they'll be affected. The thing that they are digging will be affected by it, or they'll just go insane from it. Nobody really lasts past a full week underground in the Elvandri ruins, or just if you go down too far on your own. So, thumbs up for that. But yeah, I'm dealing with that and the forces that are happening. The Hulat on the continent of Karthkog really have only been expanding outward and downward for about, I can only figure for how things have gone for maybe 3,000 to 5,000 years. And before that, they spent all the time in this now ice-covered, but once very inhospitable land mass where they were barely able to survive during the millions of years, 3 to be exact, that it took the Australopithecus-like creatures that they started off as to evolve into who they are now. Because the Hulat, they speciated away from the original stock and became the Hulat, but they also speciated into the Apani, the Habani, and the Orkani. Whereas one of the other speciations became the Goya, which genetically us. Whereas the stock race is are the Dwaylen. And they are a very long-lasting race, but that's all of everybody on the planet is. But the Dwaylen occupy a cultural position like Paris did on our world back in the 1800s. When Paris sneezed, the rest of the world got a sniffle. And that just meant that whatever Paris was doing would eventually filter its way out to everybody else in the rest of the world. What the United States does, when the United States gets a cold, everybody else sneezes. Our hold on culture in the Western world is that strong. But in this world, the Dwaylen occupy like the position Paris did in our world. Everybody looks up to them. The Elvandri do, the Hulat do, the Goya do. If there's another race, and there will be, I'm quite sure, they would likely look up upon them as well. Now, there's more I need to talk about with them, and I'll get into that, but it's all build up and explains how the world became what it is like 5 million years ago, the stuff that I'm working on. So, how about that? Thumbs up. If you are a patron, thumbs up and thank you. Without your help, life would be a whole lot more difficult. I have the feeling I'm making a whole lot of spit bubbles, so if I act like I'm trying not to make spit bubbles, guess what? I'm trying not to make spit bubbles. But thank you so very much. Without your help, life would be a whole lot more difficult. Even though I'm trying to lose weight, which means I need to eat less, without your help, even eating less would be a whole lot more difficult. So thumbs up and thank you. Your help is appreciated to no end. To everybody that leaves me a comment, did I mention that I have memory issues? I keep trying to remember to write down the name of somebody to thank, somebody who left a comment. The only person that I can remember that that left me a comment, the name of, oh my God, that wasn't English. The only person who left me a comment that I can remember the name of is Jesse Koskinen, who said that they like the games that I keep showing people. And I still need to play Mini Rogue. It's got a lot of things, and it looks like it... Is that upside down? No. It looks like it's really fun. But look at all those fiddly bits. Yeah, so I need to play that for the channel too. Thumbs up. So... it was early. I meant to say something else, and I was going into my final... I'm ending the video spiel. Yeah, I'm just going to get my phone calls done, or try to, and try and get some other things done. Later on, play Blood Moon Apocalypse. Hopefully get maybe some Mini Rogue done. Thumbs up for that. Hopefully you can get done what you can get done. If not, don't beat yourself up, please. That does not help. And if you have watched this far, if you could write Tension Tamer in the comments to let both me and the algorithm know that people do in fact watch the videos. Thumbs up for that. Now, so until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. And yes, I will probably think I will probably think that it's funny to act like I am in shock, horror, or pain when I say, so until we meet again, because it's a, what is it, subversion of expectations. You don't expect me to react in terror when I am saying something so banal. You take care.